Night Runner.
Daybreaker.
Midnight Meanderer.
Midnight Meander. That's the name. Daybreaker. Dawnrunner. Yes. Dawnwalker. Yes.
Blood of the Dawnwalker by Rebel Wolf Studios.
I think all of us watched it. 3 of us watched it. We had them on the show a while back. It was fine. I thought, like, presentation-wise, they did a lot of talking head stuff that I think could have been sussed out and changed. But as soon as they showed the gameplay, I was in. And then as soon as they showed the vampire gameplay, I was, like, doubly in.
You can't live alone.
So what did you think of it?
The combat looked a little frantic. I was not digging the watching the combat, the viewing of the combat. The zoom in and out was kind of a lot. Also the FOV was a little bit tight. Like it definitely felt to me like I need a lot less camera movement and a lot more like viewing things going on. There was one particular point where I think as the vampire, he like did this kind of warpy thing, and each time he warped, it did this like zoom in thing, and I was just like, okay, let's slow down, man.
Yeah.
Like it's very very quick. And I feel like if they pulled it out and maybe didn't jerk the camera around as much, it might look really, really good. But it's just, it gets a little frantic when the action picks up. And this is only, again, where we didn't see a lot of group fights. If they have a lot of group fights, it could get even more like that.
Yeah.
That being said, the system itself looks cool. I like that it looks kind of like a For Honor KCD2 system, kind of some Witcher in there as well with the sign casting. The boss fight looked kind of interesting as well. Nice to see some multi-phasey things. Gets a little confusing there at the top. I was like, how many bars are we going to have? Like, that's going to be
kind of
a
large
thing.
too. Like it's big.
Yeah. But it looks fun. Overall, I mean, the environment looks fun. The game looks fun. Little bit of confusion with the days thing. We know from our interview and from stuff they've clarified in the past that the days you see in the top right of that screen, that is a resource. That is not the days in the game. That is a resource, and you will get up to parts in the game where you spend your days to make decisions and progress things. But what they also were clear to make very apparent in this presentation is that there is a human gameplay and a vampire game. And they made the point of showing like it's very different for both. And if you see something as a vampire, remember to come back later as a human and deal with it differently, right? Like you can do that. But that means that you can progress day and night independent of the day's remaining timer. So that immediately causes a little bit of confusion for me. I'm like, is that how it's intended? Like, is that what it's going to be? In which case that's a little, like, maybe we shouldn't call those days in the top right, because that doesn't really make a lot of sense. But I'm a little like, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that and like how the whole approach is refined, if it is at all, or if they're just going to say screw it and, you know, not have it really make any sense, but just leave it how it is. I was not super jazzed at the format. I've talked about this a lot today and last time too. I need things to be logical for me to like be just totally cool with it and enjoy it. And I don't know what it is about it, but I have such a hard time watching two people talk to each other about things they both already know, but they're talking to each other like it's new information. And they're both actually talking to us, even though they're not acknowledging us there.
And everything is there for a reason, to, you know, tell the story. I even have my favorite tree.
Yeah, well, the narrative does go deep, doesn't it? And I mean, that wasn't the only thing that was important to us.
And I have a very hard time, like, just watching that and absorbing it normally. It's so awkwardly strange to me. And I don't know why we keep seeing these shows with it. I know it's a common thing. I know that's a common thing in different mediums. But I will say that like it sticks out on Twitch.
Yes.
It's not. I would say that type of show has a place 100%. I don't think that place is on Twitch. So from a presentation standpoint, what I would recommend to all game presenters doing that, like focus on the gameplay, talking head stuff, light as possible. And if you are going to have an extended talking head period, have gameplay running in the background, be talking about things in the game, like save the kind of more non-game related wishy-washy, this is based on, like that stuff's super interesting, but like for the Twitch stream, that all about the game, the gameplay, and the entertainment. That thing in the middle was awesome. I loved the song they did, and like that was fantastic. So like sandwich that in between some gameplay. When they're walking through the guy in the woods, don't even show them in the woods. Just show gameplay. Have them talking over it, what they're talking about. Whenever they're talking about something in the game, show what they're talking about in the game. Like,
yeah,
that's just a lot more connected. and it feels like it respects our time a little bit. So
Yeah.
that's about the presentation.
You know, it feels like, did you ever stay up late as a kid and find yourself watching the infomercials, like the Ron Popeil shit?
That was a big turkey, man. In like 45 minutes, G, the thing was done. I'm like, wow.
Be creative. Make a lemon pepper turkey, a Cajun turkey, or my favorite, a honey pecan turkey.
That's what
Oh,
it
yeah.
feels like to me. It feels like I'm watching one of those
Kind of,
with like
yes,
an audience
yes.
behind him.
And the
he's like,
problem-
oh, wow, look at it, so sharp. That
Dude,
type of
and the
shit.
problem there, you're absolutely right. And it's that corporate PR, you know, like structured advertising angle.
Yeah.
And I feel like these days, especially with everything that's been going on in the last few years, let's get away from that. Like organic, real, to the point, transparent. Like we don't need to kind of obfuscate it. We just, you know, get us the facts, the details, the entertainment. And so we can get back to our games.
Yes.
But, and again, I'm not saying that type of thing doesn't have a place. Like, pop that on your YouTube, make that stuff and give it, you know, I'm sure your investors love that stuff. I'm sure people that are super interested in the game, like Reddits and forums, they'd all love that stuff. Like, there's a place for it.
Yeah.
Just Twitch is a little bit of a different environment.
I agree.
Anyway,
Definitely I think this came across as like the first game that the studio is putting out as a studio. I think they'll definitely have a lot of refinement, and they got a ton of feedback from what it looks like from showing this. This comes out in September, is that right?
I do not remember when this one, I don't know if we have a date for this one yet, do we?
Okay, Dawnwalker release date, let's
I think
see.
so.
Yeah, 2026. So they don't have a release date. They're still cooking, so they can go back
Still
and
cooking.
change some stuff. Yeah.
It was worth the watch. The gameplay stuff was awesome. It gives you a very good idea of what the game's going to be like, combat's going to be like. It was, it was a very solid presentation
Yeah.
outside of the talking head stuff.
To be clear, they were good at what they were doing. I just think it wasn't what like the Twitch audience was. Exactly
Yeah,
what Cohh
the
said.
hosts were fine. Even the people doing the walk-alongs were fine. It's
Yes.
it's the structure of the show that was the issue. Like, it would have been so much cooler to have them talking to the camera in a little box in the bottom. Like, tell us about your game. Like, tell us, and then have gameplay and on the big screen behind you. And like that works.
Yeah.
You know, like that's okay.
They had like a little live action.
Oh, the live action
trailer.
stuff was cool. Yeah, that was fun.
With some fighting and then more Q&A at the end, and then the credits. About an hour long in full. The gameplay portion was about 20 minutes.
I'm very interested to see the system narrative sandbox idea. I feel a lot better about this. Looks kind of cool as well. Yeah, we'll see how it goes, man.
Yeah, the
I have high
gore's
hopes
there
for this
too.
game. Very high hopes.